Good, beautiful morning, everybody on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I hope you're having a wonderful and a joy-filled day already. Today, I have with me the energy of my guardian angel, John, on how to connect with other dimensions. It's something you naturally know how to do, just you have been distracted from being able to do it for a long time. But we'll get into that shortly. So I hope everybody's enjoying this lapse in these ascension energies, this lull in the bombardment of energies coming into the planet. We're at a very interesting time. People don't realize that consciousness is organizing matter. and it becomes so important to understand that. I'm going to give everybody a chance to come on over here. Hi, Drusilla. Good morning, darling. And we're just going to look for this. So yeah, we are at this place. Look at all that fascinating event over in Turkey, eh? They're being all shaken up over there. You know, one of the things Gaia said to me a few years ago, she said she's going to do everything in her power to discharge negative energy from the biology of the earth in the places that are the least populated for as long as she can. Remember though, as long as we as humans keep feeding anger and frustration and fear into our lives, we're affecting the energy of other things around us. This is so important to understand, that there are no effects without causes, no causes without effects. It's really simple. Human emotional energy organizes matter into experiential realities that we get to enjoy. You know, what we think and feel creates what we experience and what we do or do not. And they keep saying this. Anyway, she said she's going to do the best she can. Even now, while we're still in war and fear, we have to let it go. We have to let our anger, our judgment, our condemnation, our criticism of others, we have to learn to let it go and stop trying to force people to be what you think they should be. All you're doing is creating more frustrating energy, which in turn affects the environment. You know, people say global warming is a product of human activity alone. It's not. Although certainly many of the effects on the planet are connected to our emotional energy as a species. But John came here to talk to us today, not about what's happening on a global scale, but on connecting to other dimensions. Because what's happening for most people is most people are getting information through their 5 physical senses. That's where most people get their information from. Only the 5 physical senses. When you were a little child, you were getting information not only from the environment, but there was this other quantum field of information that you were interacting with. And a lot of parents who have young children that talk to mysterious strangers, or they're communicating to something around them and they're looking at things, they are perceiving other realms of consciousness. And what happens to most people, he says, is that we get bound by our externalized training. We get lost in believing that only what we see, smell, touch, and taste and hear with our bodies is the only reality, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have access through the inner pathways of yourself to access information and knowledge outside the scope of what you currently know. Good morning, Lysandra. Hi, Emma. Good to see you, darling. Hi, Tanya. Glad you joined the 104. Yes, I'm just going to find this process. So, as we learn, right. So how do you get yourself out of that place? How do you get past the place where you are simply perceiving the world through the 5 sensory self? This is where most people are troubled and stuck, because what you have in your mind is all you have in your mind. Frustration, annoyance, things that you can feel confused about may have nothing to do with who you are as a being, but you're simply lacking access to information that the world cannot provide you about yourself. So there's these other realms. Some people call it talking to God or praying to Jesus, or, you know, communing with Buddha or whatever, going and seeing Satya Sai Baba. There's all these different ways of going to some form of a deity to connect to a higher perspective of yourself. One of the things John's told me, he said, everybody must understand that higher perspective that you're seeking to resolve the problems of your life is within you. You need to learn how to let go of what you think you know in order to begin to open up to information that's outside of it. In other words, if you are sitting in a box, all you will know is what's inside the box. And the box is your personality, the identity that the world has stamped into your brain through your eyes, your ears, your smells, your touches, your tastes, your senses. The world has stamped an identity, and you're stuck with that stamp, or so you think. In the process of learning to differentiate your awareness from your thoughts, you will begin to move away from the personality. When you begin to step back away from your thoughts, away from what you remember, and you can do this, how is it you think you observe thoughts or memories? Because you are not your thoughts, you're not your memories, you are awareness. And so you pull yourself away from what you know in your mind, what you remember in your body, what you consider about the future based on what you know in your mind and body. And you step back from that, all that, and you ask for information to come to you. You ask to be given information that you do not know. The tendency for many of you, if you attempt to do this, will be to try and look in your mind with what you already know to find something you do not know, and this will not work. Learning to place aside the thinking mind, the memory systems, to disassociate yourself from them to the extent that you're able to be in stillness and therefore be open and receptive to information beyond the known of your personality. And many of you, if you apply this, it may take a little bit of time, but just the mere act of moving your awareness from what you know in your mind, because so many of you have incessant thinking going on. So many of you have incessant memories going on. So many of you have so many fears about what's going to happen based on what you remember that many of you cannot get to this place of quietness because you have not been told that place exists. And so let me say to you right now that that place of silence is your natural state. Your place of being is not located in the realm of your thinking mind or even in the realm of your biology, although you can live in your thinking mind and you can live in your biology, which you do because you're hearing these words, but you as awareness are a separate and distinct entity that when you begin to step away from what you know in your mind that the world has placed within it, and you step away from that and you move into the realm of what you do not know. In the beginning, it may start off as silence. The tendency will be, of course, for your mind to jump in and your body to jump in to seize control of your attention again. Because that is the way, is it not? All of your educational system says, pay attention. What we put up on the board here, pay attention to what I say, pay attention to what I tell you. This is what your educational system has trained you to look into the world for what you do not know. But within you is this infinite reservoir of information that you can begin to access by getting your mind and your body still and quiet, leaving it open and receptive to your awareness, to let it be at rest. In that place, you begin to move away from the standard thoughts and emotions that many of you feel enslaved and imprisoned by. And this is unfortunate. So many of you believe that your thoughts and your emotions and your memories are the sole source of your identification of who you are. They are not. They are simply the information that you use. So you get your body, you get your mind still and quiet. In that place where there is silence, in that place, you can begin to sense and feel and know that which is beyond what you know. And this will take some practice, learning to get your mind to be still, to have your body at rest, undisturbed and undistracted, that your awareness then becomes free of them, that you can even speak to these ascended masters, your Master Jesus and your Master Buddha, and you can speak with the divine within you, and you can speak to the angels, and you can speak to the other dimensional realms. Of course, this is a process that requires some fundamental training, learning how to teach your mind and body to be still and to be quiet. But once your mind and body are placed in a state of abeyance, they're put to the side, and you as awareness are still aware that you are aware. In that place, you can begin to explore beyond what you know in your mind and body. This will have several good effects on your body, for when you pull your attention away from the mind and body, it gets the opportunity to rest, to regenerate, to rejuvenate, to revitalize. This is what happens when you are not having active thoughts all the time about this thing or that thing or the other. Your body then begins the process of regeneration. And so while you are in this place of silence, if you give yourself permission to go there, if you let your mind and body be still and quiet, is it inevitable that you will be somewhere else in consciousness? You will still be aware of this world. You will still hear sounds. You can still hear language, but you are not distracted by it in the same fashion. You're not distracted by it in the same fashion. Then these realms of information outside of what you know become available to you as you begin the process of differentiating your awareness from subjectivity to the personality that you've acquired in this physical world. In that place of awareness, many pathways open up to you to gain information. And I would encourage you to pursue this from a place of vitality. For those of you that are struggling and suffering with thoughts and emotions that are persistent, I would simply say to you that teaching your mind and body to be still and quiet will be most wise to learn first, to recognize you can indeed tell your body be still and relax. You can tell your mind to be still and quiet, and it shall be. And when you gain the authority in every moment to say, be still, be still, it is that place of stillness where you can know the truth of the statement, be still and know that I am God. When your mind and body are quiet, undistracting you, and you are awareness, in that place you can begin to know. And we often hear you when you say, help me, you say. And you listen and you say you hear nothing. It is not that you are hearing nothing. It is just that you are hoping to hear something that you already know. But in that place, when you call for guidance and assistance, that nothing that comes in response is not nothing. Merely that your frame of reference for interpreting information is bound in what you already know. So you try to interpret information that's of a very different frequency than the information you've acquired from this world. This understanding emerges when you begin to become familiar with the vibration of energy outside of the known thinking mind. That place where you can hear and feel the vibrations of silence. And what is contained within the silence will be the response you require in request to your request. But first, to get your mind and your body still and quiet, open and receptive to your awareness, is the first step to being able to access other dimensions of information. If you understand that your emotions are not who you are, that your thoughts are not who you are, that your body is not who you are, these are simply instruments for the function of creation. If you begin to grasp this concept, that the body is an instrument that does what you think it to do, and that your thinking mind likewise is designed to think what you want it to think, and you begin to understand that, then you can alter and change the thoughts that are in your mind that the world has given you. You do not have to believe what the world has told you is true or not true. You can begin to think independent of the thoughts that the world has given you, so that you can begin to explore a new world other than the one you already know. These dimensions of information contain within them the answers to all of your concerns and questions, relevant to your unique situation, of course. For infinite information is organized in a very precise and profound fashion. It is an omniscient function, in that the full knowledge of itself recognizes what each part of itself needs simultaneously. That omniscience, omnipotence are very simple functions of consciousness, of which you are a part. But while you're in that body, you came for the purpose of understanding a function of creation, that's unique to you and your consciousness at the point of your evolution. So these dimensions of information may be from your guides, from your angels, ascended masters, even those that you love that are no longer in physical mechanisms of expression. But these dimensions of information, they sometimes have bled through into this dimension where people see and hear and feel these beings right before them. But generally speaking, most need to get their mind and body quiet and still so that you can begin to perceive beyond the framework of your own acquired personality. This gives you the opportunity to liberate yourself with new information that the world cannot give you, but that is within your reach. If you dare to reach, if you train your mind and you train your body to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness, and you train your body in that fashion, then you'll become aware of being aware, independent of the thoughts. You can then observe the thinking mind going yeah all the time. And you can be aware of the body being distracted and say, oh, my body is distracted. My mind is very noisy. I'm going to be just observant to them. I'm not going to get caught up in them. I'm going to let them be still. I can observe them. In that position where you begin to observe thought and observe emotion, not as the source of who you are, but as functions of energy at those respective levels of thinking and energy. But that you are the observer of that. In that position of observer, you can get away from your subjectivity to your suffering. In that place of awareness of thought, awareness of emotion, awareness of body, recognize, I am aware of these emotions. I am aware of these thoughts. I am aware of that body that I have in my possession. But I am not these things. I have them. I'm going to observe them. I do not have to get caught in them. I do not have to accept them or believe them. I can simply observe. The mere position of observation begins to establish yourself in a different position of consciousness relative to your mind and body and your environment. You move to a dimension of perception by that act alone, by the act of observing. You move into a dimension of consciousness that is separate and distinct from the mind and body exclusively. That you begin to then perceive the functions of thought, the emotions they generate, and the responses of your biology. And you begin to then observe. From the position of observing, you are in a dimension of consciousness that is not bound by personality anymore. You are not bound by your thoughts. You're not bound by your memories. You're not bound by your emotions. In this position of observation, you move to a dimension of observation, which places you in the position in consciousness between the physical realms, the mental realms, the emotional realms, and the spiritual realms of consciousness. These other dimensions, these other layers of frequencies of consciousness that are outside the scope of your 5 physical senses, but which are well within the range of your perception from the perspective of your awareness. And why is this so important at this time? It is so important because many of you do not understand the correlation between your emotional energy and the influence they exert over time, space, and matter as you experience it in this physical dimension. Many of you do not understand the function of choice. Many of you have been raised in a system of thinking that did not allow you to do your own thinking or to choose your own choosing. You were told what to think and you were told what to choose, and you've been bound by that. And that is the greatest suffering of all humanity, that you would be bound by a fixed set of thinking without any evaluation of it. Your soul is so much greater than what the world has told you to think you were supposed to be. You are so much greater than what the world is telling you to think you were supposed to be. But in this place of observation, you begin to step away from the known identity. You can observe it. You can observe the thoughts. Oh, I'm thinking about my grandmother. I'm thinking about my sister. I'm thinking about my boyfriend. I'm thinking about my girlfriend. Oh, I'm thinking about work. And you can recognize the thinking mind thinking all of these. Oh, my mind is thinking all of these things. And you are the observer observing the thinking, but you are not the thinking. Now you're observing it. In that position of observation, you do not have to jump into the thinking mind and get lost in it again. You can simply observe, my mind is thinking without control. And you can then say to the mind, be still. You can give your mind permission to be still. And now once the mind begins to calm and the body begins to calm, your awareness moves into a realm, a dimension of consciousness that is not bound by mind nor flesh. your awareness and consciousness will not be bound by mind or flesh in this place of awareness. It is the middle point between that which is above and that which is below. It is the place where you can be the bridge between the unknown and the knowable. And from that realm of the unknown, you can begin to receive and draw from its infinite source information, guidance, inspiration, from which you can guide your life more efficiently than the way the world has taught you to live. You did not come here to suffer. You came into this world to create. And many of you have learned to accept what the world has told you at great expense of your happiness, your freedom, your compassion, your curiosity, your playfulness. Many of you have taken to anger and pain and suffering as a means of validating that you have some sort of importance. But in the realm of fear and anger, your importance, your value goes down, which is why you have to do it more to try and give yourself the illusion that it has somehow gone up. Surrender your anger, surrender your judgment, surrender your fear. Teach your mind and body to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. And when your mind and body are thusly trained, you as awareness are free to begin to access other realms of information than the realms of information you acquire from your 5 physical senses. This additional information which you can access, some of you call them guides, angels, ascended masters, the gods, you whatever you wish to call them, but these are different dimensions and realms of information that you may align yourself to tune into. Many of your great heroes of mythical lore have explored and experimented with these realms of consciousness, the burning bush, speaking to the divine, ascending to heaven. Many processes have been described to articulate what this process is. But it was quite simply that the great spiritual leaders of your histories have learned to access realms of information and consciousness beyond the scope of their 5 physical senses. They bring this information down into their mind and body. They articulate it to you in language, and you feel inspired, empowered, and uplifted by some of these great leaders that have come to awaken you from your slumber. And you are here to awaken from slumber. You are here to be awake and live awake. But these dimensions of information, and you may call it talking to God, whatever you will call it, you are simply allowing yourself to access information beyond what you know. What do you think the term divine inspiration is for? Is to open up to something greater than yourself, to receive inspiration, to receive revelation. And every single soul on this planet has within them the capacity to access these realms of information by will, by choice. You may do these things so that you would not go through this life suffering. For to be less than what you are is to suffer. To be less than what you really are is to suffer. And much of your suffering was given to you. You were taught to suffer. It is time to unlearn your suffering and make available to you realms of information that can limit you from unnecessary suffering. You are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not that body in which you are hearing these words. You are awareness, a consciousness, ageless, timeless, eternal consciousness. That you have in your possession what you call the realm of thinking, the realm of energy, the realm of biology. You have these realms under your authority to learn how to utilize your authority in relation to this process of creation. And so your suffering, your happiness are simply functions of creation, that you may learn to become conscious, that you can assert deliberate, immediate, conscious change over the conditions of your expression in this physical dimension. And collectively, as a species, humanity is altering and changing the environment. Consciousness is the key here. The function of your consciousness through limiting or uplifting belief systems is producing all of the results that you see in this physical dimension. You cannot separate yourself from what is a unified whole. although you may perceive yourself in separateness from the perspective of one physical body. But let us assure you, the reality is that you have a greater influence over your conditions of time, space, and matter. The effects you observe in matter, time, and space are amenable to changes in the function of your consciousness. The ideas, the information, and the energy that you deliberately and intentionally align to, or deliberately and intentionally align to. It may be good, it may not be good. The experience will be the experience, but your choice is one of either suffering or liberation. You cannot serve two masters in this process. When I came to this one many years ago, he was faced with the process of choosing what you would call suffering or to end his suffering. The path he had chosen at that time was to jump his body off a bridge. I intervened at that time and I said to him, no, do these things. And he did these things and his life was changed. He was open in one moment to another dimension of information, and I came through to him and I told him, do these things. And he did these things. And that has been many years now in your earth terms. So understand that you have access to information in any moment if you would avail yourself of this understanding to teach your mind and to teach your body to be still, to be quiet, so that you as awareness begin to gain access to information that is beneficial to you and those that you love. Information that you are not getting from this world, as there are many here that benefit from your suffering. Unfortunately, one cannot induce suffering in another without bringing that suffering upon themselves as an eventuality. And so you might think that harming certain segments of the population for an agenda that you believe might make you free and liberated from your suffering, you are sadly mistaken. You cannot initiate a cause without reaping its effect. And the function of love is very different than the function of fear. And in every single human interaction, there are only those two functions, love and fear. Every human interaction is based upon these two polarities. One is either extending love or extending fear. One is either calling for love or calling for fear. Only these two functions. In the simplicity of all things, you can examine and evaluate, what is this thinking? Is this thinking of love? Is this thinking of fear? Is this action of love? Is this action of fear? For each will give birth to its own conditions in your life. The functions of love are very different than the functions of fear, but they both work along the exact same principles of energy and consciousness, cause and effect. There are certain laws that are relative to this dimension, are immutable laws, cause and effect being one of those. You cannot escape the effects of your own cause. And so this is what I came here today simply to say, that you can access these other dimensions of information. You begin first by training your body into a position where it is quiet, open, and receptive to your awareness. You train your mind to be still and quiet and open and receptive to your awareness. And then you take your awareness and you begin to request or call forth inspiration, information, and allow it to come to you, for it will come. As certainly you would call the name of someone you love, they would respond to you. If you say, come here, my friend, they come to you. You say, I need this information. It will respond to you. And it will respond to you in a way that you are open and receptive to receiving it. And that is the truth. Wow. So getting into other dimensions. So I've been learning this quite extensively for the last 4.5 years about all these dimensional beings that are around us that we can communicate with. When I say around us, I mean energetically, they're all around us. You know, a lot of people ask questions about talking to their mother or their father or their grandmother or their sister or their brother or their daughter who've left their physical body. And I'll say this, and you'll hear us say it quite frequently. When you're thinking about somebody that you love, when you suddenly start thinking about somebody you love and they've left their body already, and you're thinking, oh, I miss them. In that moment, if you pay close attention, you'll feel their energy connecting to you. That's why you're suddenly thinking about them. But the moment you think, oh, I miss them, you actually break the communication, because now you're saying, I miss them. So the energy changes and the communication, they interacted with you, is suddenly lost. But if you pause when you're thinking about mom or dad or the baby that left your body too soon, they're around you the moment you give them attention. When you start thinking about them, pause. Be present with them. 99.99% of the time, they want you to feel the love that they have for you. Because most people, when they leave the body, realize a little bit more about who they are and what they want to do. And you don't have to wait until you leave the body to do that. But yeah, anytime you think or perceive somebody that you want to connect to that's left their body, in that moment where you're yearning that connection, the connection's already happening. You're in that dimensional connection with them. So pause. Don't go to I miss them or go to sadness. Just feel their presence with you. Learn to do this. You're not here to be alone. You're here to be guided. You're assisted when you need it. And you're here to guide others and assist them when they need it. It's a really simple thing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Wow. Welcome. Hi there. Hi, Leah. Are there any messages from spirit guides? I hope you heard the whole message, Leah. So the way this works, on Monday, Tuesday, I ask somebody to come forth. Today it was my guardian angel John to share a message with us and give us a little bit of teaching, and then we do a little bit of Q&A afterwards, and then we do that on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Friday we do an open Q&A, and it's just for the audience, all of you guys that are here to get information or inspiration from your guides, your angels, ascended masters, relatives that are not in their physical body, and you can come to Friday's event for that. And Saturday we do a meditation portion, a general, simple discussion and an application of meditation to give you some experience with how you can begin to get free of your subjectivity to your mind and body. Because that's what's causing most people to suffer. They think or believe that all they are is the thoughts and emotions and memories. You are not just your thoughts. You are not just your emotions. You are not just your memories. Those are all instruments that you use in the function of creation, but you're so much more than your thoughts. You're so much more than your emotions. You are a creating intelligence. They keep telling me that over and over again. So that's what most people need to hear, is that you are a creating intelligence. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Emma. Just scrolling down here. Lots of questions coming up already. That's an interesting sentiment. I'm just scrolling through questions here. Thank you for moderating my YouTube questions there, Chris. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're scrolling up here. Hello, AMC. Understand. For those of you that are coming here and spewing fear and anger and hatred, I give you my deepest, warmest extension of love, because those that would extend fear to others are calling for love. It's quite simple. People that are angry and fearful and judgmental are calling for love. Right? And best just to give him love and not pay attention to them if they're going to keep it up. Somebody told me somebody's asking, Sonia is asking on TikTok, somebody told me my angel is Zadkiel. Is this true? Yes, he is one of 5 that you actually have working with you. Excuse me. He's one of 5 that works with you. Really important. It's really important with Zadkiel that you open a gentle space. You open a gentle space for his presence. Open a gentle space for his presence to communicate with you. Very gentle space. But there are 4 others that work with him, with you. Thank you. Excuse me. Have I ever done ayahuasca? No, I've never done ayahuasca at all. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I've heard some bad things about it. But I don't feel drawn to it at this point of my experience in time and space. But thank you for asking. I don't discourage it. I don't recommend it. I think if your heart is called to it, you honor what's in your heart. Because sometimes people need a chemical intervention to shift their mindset. And I think that's why a lot of people go to psychiatrists and psychologists and medical doctors when they're feeling emotionally distraught. They're trying to create They're trying to find something that's going to help them change their energy. But you don't need to go into a chemical process to alter your energy. You can learn simple techniques to change your own mind, to reduce the emotional interactions in you can literally change your energy without having to poison your body in order to do it. Again, we've got our upcoming 101 Masterclass for beginners on learning how to become sensitive to your angels, your guides, other multidimensional beings. This class is taught by the Ascended Masters, and it's a beginner's program for getting you connected to your guides, to your angels. But we also have a food component because we were told it was really important that people understand that the vibration of your body, the vitality of your mind are very important to working with higher energies. If you're in a low vibrational state, you're going to connect to low vibrational energies and low vibrational entities. So you want to raise the vibration. Our food component, which is called Accelerate, Sun Food Living Accelerate program, it introduces people into a new eating lifestyle that will help you shift away from toxic, poisonous foods towards foods that are going to be more conducive to elevating your energy, which is very important because when you can change your frequency, you'll change what you connect to. But yeah, you can go check it out. Go register for the 101 Masterclass. Go to my website, William Michael Forbes. Check that out. Sign up. You got a whole month before we go into that course. That's a great statement. Somebody here at PSA on TikTok saying, you don't ask a question, you pose a question. When you ask a question, the answer is a question. That's so true. They tell me that a lot of people will ask questions, and the very nature of your question is the answer you're seeking. I love that when they told me that. So I pay attention to that when people ask some questions. They're actually doing that. Vertical's asking on YouTube, Saturday night, a soul tried to connect with me through both ears. I saw them, felt for 5 minutes, a loud vibration in my brain, like an interrupted radio station sound. Was it Jose? No, it wasn't Jose. This was Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. This is a pineal gland activation. This was a pineal gland activation. This is a full activation of your pineal gland. Yeah. Tell her to rest in this, to do this daily, to do this practice daily of paying attention to the space where the two notes met in your mind, where you felt them join inside your physical body. Pay attention to that place. It is being activated. It is being activated for you. So your pineal gland is being activated and open. I love that. Thank you. Somebody's saying here on YouTube, Angel Follower 22, I'm ready to give up on life. I see no hope. You are the hope. You know, I want to say this because I've been there. I've been in that place. I've stood on the bridges. I've sat with the drugs to eliminate my life from this physical dimension. And that was many years ago. I want to say to you this, that you are not your thoughts. You are not your memories. You are not your emotions. You are a soul, a spirit of universal light. Listen very carefully to the vibration of these words. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You are awareness. But you are here to learn the function of creation, to learn to utilize thought to generate different emotional fields, to create different creative expressions, learning to alter and change what thoughts you allow your mind to think, and learning to change, therefore, the emotions that those thoughts will generate will give you a different understanding of your own unique creative process. You are love. It is not something that you seek in this world. It is something that you are innately. You are love. The primary function of your being is that you are love. This world has confused many of you by giving you false information, distracting you away from your own soul, getting you captivated into the illusions of the world and the delusions of the world. But understand this, that even in this moment, where you think you have no hope, you are the very hope that you seek. Hear these words and feel their vibrations that you might be free of your suffering. Hear the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the events that happen to you. Those events that happen to you do not define you. but they give you the opportunity to transcend suffering. And when you learn to transcend suffering, you will become a healer. When you learn to transcend your suffering, you become a healer. And this is partly the purpose that you have made this statement to us. You wish to understand your function as a healer, how to end suffering. That is your purpose at this time, to understand how to transcend suffering, that you may begin to enable and enact the purpose that you came to function as here in this physical dimension. Wow. Thank you so much for that, Angel Follower 22. Really appreciate that. Lots of people need to hear that. Lots of people sending you love here. So Mary's asking, is there a message for me today? Thank you, William Michael Forbes. Goodness, good vibes, virtual hug. Thank you so much. I don't know. Somebody's told me to tell you she needs to do ab exercises. I don't know who this is, but their energy is very funny. They're saying you need to do abdominal exercises. That's the first time I've ever heard that. You need to do some abdominal exercises. There's something in your intestinal system that abdominal exercises will really, really, really help you. Like the picture I'm being shown is you're lying flat on your back, and you're literally bringing your legs up and down, and you're twisting. But they're saying to focus on the core area, the abdominals. You need to exercise that part of the body. Yeah, it's going to break something free. That's blockage. You've got a blockage somewhere in your energy centers, right around the solar plexus chakra. This abdominal exercise will help liberate that blockage. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. Thank you, Mary. Really appreciate that. Good morning, guys. I am the observer observing. That is exactly correct. Hi, Crystal. Good to see you. Hi, guys. Good morning, Breebit. Hi. Thank you so much for the gifts on TikTok. I don't understand the whole gift thing on TikTok yet. I'm just so grateful that you're receiving what you need to receive from this, because that's what this is really about. What is the most powerful affection? Someone's asking on TikTok, what is the most powerful affection? Peace. Peace is the most powerful affection for you. To restore your awareness to a state of peace will be the most powerful affection for you. If you teach your mind to be quiet and your body to be still, and you rest in the essence of being that which you are without the distractions of your thoughts and your memories and your emotions, and all of you are capable of this, but for you specifically, peace is your greatest affection. Peace. I love that. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Good morning, brother. Thank you so much. Hi from Canada. Got lots of Canadians here. Got lots of Americans here. How do you connect with someone you're unsure if they passed? This is a great question. Because a lot of people have disappeared from your life and you're wondering about them. If you want to connect to know of somebody, you can there's a process you can learn. We teach it in our 101 masterclass, where you begin a process of how to sensitize your awareness to the functions of the heart center, the heart chakra, right? Which is in this location of the body. Your heart chakra knows the difference and will respond to truth and falsity very easily. It's just learning how to reattune your awareness to perceive how the body is telling you what is true and what is false. That's a very fundamental beginning level of learning to resensitize your awareness to knowing the difference between what is true and what is false. So you can literally reach out to those people energetically, and you can feel their presence. Sometimes I reach out to people and that have left the body, but they come back into a body. Sometimes I'll connect to their energy directly. It's unique and different from person to person, but the process is universal. Learning to become sensitive to the vibration of what we call truth. And again, a lot of people are disconnected from that because they're so caught up in the the personality that they've been given, the data that the world has put into your mind has got you confused between what is true and what is false. And there's nothing more apparent than that going on today. But what is true is true, and you can learn to reconnect to it. But there's different ways. That's the way that I've been taught, is to get my mind quiet, my body quiet, and tune into the energy of that consciousness. Just by thinking or accessing, they respond always. It's a beautiful thing. So yes, Whitney, if you want, you can do that. Like literally sit down and just reach out. Don't let your mind try to figure things out, because the answer's already there. You know, your personality thinks it's intelligent. It's not. Your personality is just a composite of all the information and experience you've acquired from the physical dimension, but it's not who you are. And once you can get your thinking mind trying to figure it out and try to be right, you know, it's not about, in the learning process, it's not about right or wrong. It's about the learning process, right? A lot of people don't understand that concept, but it's really important. Thanks so much for that question. So glad you heard that. Hi, Noah. Hi there. Good morning. Hello, beautiful souls. Hi. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Any message from my guides today, William? So I'm still laughing about the one person getting the response about working their abs. It's quite funny. Brahms. You need to listen to the work of Brahms today. You need to listen to some classical music, and I'm being told Brahms. Something about, again, I don't know classical music. I've heard some classical music. I've heard music, but I don't know the name. But I mean something about the fourth. You need to listen to something about the fourth. Brahms, the fourth. I'm going to guess from my own memory systems, like his fourth concerto. Brahms. You need to listen to that today. They're saying there's encoding that will be stimulated from within you. Encoding that will be stimulated from within you. What do you mean by the encoding? It is information that this one's been requesting for quite some time. Yes. Okay, thank you. It's a great question. This is some Brahms. Thank you so much. So somebody's saying, I ask for angels and angels guidance all the time, but don't feel or sense anything or messages. It's not that you're not. And the reason you're asking is because a part of you knows they exist. But what happens is people get a personality. It's so important to understand the identity that you've been given in that body. Most people get so attached to the body and the information stored within it from the five physical senses, you disconnect your awareness from anything outside of it. And so you're trying to perceive your guides and angels from within the known world, your own mind and body. You're thinking in your mind and body, you're going to perceive something with your mind, and you're looking in your mind. That won't work. You got to get your mind and body out of the way. I'm being told when you do this, like, find a place where you can put your body somewhere safe. Get it relaxed. Get your mind quiet. I'm being told to tell you to burn a beeswax candle on your left side. The scent of the candle will calm your mind and body. Then to get your mind and body very quiet and still, and allow yourself to ask for the guidance you want, but do not try to find it or grasp it. Allow it. You will receive either symbols, images, or words directly. They will come to you. They will not be coming from what you remember. See, that's what happens. Many of you get stuck in trying to think you know. That is the way you've been trained. It you're supposed to know, because you will survive if you. But understand, you must place what you know aside. You must place it aside. In this, you'll begin to hear. You'll begin to see. One of your guardian angels saying, "Don't be surprised if you feel a sudden jerk." Because that's normal. Sometimes when you actually step outside of the realm, a lot of people experience that when they're going to sleep at night. They'll suddenly jerk. That's because you're actually leaving the body, and your body personality is suddenly aware you're leaving, and it pulls you back, right? Because the personality has been in control of most of you most of your lives, and you want to teach yourself to put your personality under your authority, not you under its authority, because the authority of your personality is the authority of the world. It's not the authority of who you really are. Well, thank you so much for that question. Really appreciate it. I love this. This is beautiful. Yeah, remember to give the videos. If you're new to the channel, remember to give this video a thumbs up. If you give me on TikTok, give me a follow. Facebook, give me a follow, or join me on my YouTube channel. I also want to make an announcement today for my Patrons. Patrons, you'll be receiving the notification for the Patrons live event tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 7-on-7. We do a Patrons only live event on the 7th day of every single month. And I'm very excited about what's going to happen because they haven't told me yet. They usually tell me in advance, but you'll receive notification about what it will be when you get that in the mail later today. That much I'm being told. Question from Rue Lorca. May I have a message on how I am doing with my progress on my emotional body and work I've been doing on myself? Thank you. Yeah, they're saying you need to reduce. They're saying removing the poison. What is a better way of putting that? What you would call inflammatory foods. You need to remove inflammatory foods to clear the body more, to balance with the field that you're seeking to connect to. The body must be clear. If the lower vibrational properties remain in the body, it makes it very difficult to perceive the higher vibrational requests. But you are making progress. You are making progress. Yes. But wow. So yeah, that's really cool. Rue. Yeah. Inflammatory causing foods from your diet. That's really cool. Thank you so much. Lots of questions. Hi guys. Scroll down here. Any message for me from my angels? So question of somebody named Amandai. Hi Amandai, saying, I suffer with borderline personality disorders. Could you explain your perception of disassociation? Again, I'm not a medical professional, but I've certainly gone through what would be classified as clinical depression and clinical anxiety many years ago. I was given a variety of different drugs to try and control and regulate it, which was very confusing and disconcerting. But what I understand about borderline personality disorder from my personal experience is that borderline personality disorder is where we are so confused about who we are because we're so caught up in many different versions of ourselves that have been given to us by the world. Also, sometimes you can take experiences from other lifetimes and they get merged into this one and you can get confused that way. But fundamentally, what you want to begin to learn to do is to differentiate your awareness from the thinking mind and from the biology. And you do that by teaching your mind and body at regular intervals to be still, to be quiet. You train your mind to be still and to be quiet. And there's different levels of difficulty for different people. When I first began, I was a real hot mess. I was a real psychological mess. And it took me several years to actually get to a place where I finally began to have enough knowledge to teach my mind and body to be still and quiet. What I do now is because I know how difficult it can be, but there are shortcuts, which is why this program is called Shortcuts for Your Soul. The function of your awareness is separate and distinct from the function of your thinking mind. The function of your thinking mind is separate and distinct from the function of your biology, although both will interact with each other very deliberately. But you are, as awareness, have the capacity to make the distinction between one aspect of your mind and another aspect of your mind, these things that you're calling different personality aspects. Every single soul in this physical dimension has many different personality aspects because you've had many different lifetimes in this physical dimension. It is only from the perspective of awareness that you can begin to harness and utilize all these different personal experiences from different lifetimes to coordinate them into a unified function in this time-space experience that you're in right now. To learn to coordinate your mind, your body, and your lifetimes of experience in the function of creation in this physical dimension. But first you must learn to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness. You are not the body. These are instruments that you use. Thought, emotion, biology are instruments that you use in the function of creating. And that there has been very little training, especially in your Western civilizations, very little training to teach you that you are not your thoughts, to teach your mind how to be still, to teach the body how to be still. Instead, they teach you to listen to them and listen to this and believe that, and you get confused. There is nothing wrong with any of you. Even those who think there is something wrong with you, there is truly nothing wrong with who you are. There is just confusion. You cannot distinguish between what the world is telling you and who you are, and so you find yourself confused. But the moment you can take this world that's in your mind and make it still and quiet, to train your mind to be still, to train your body to be open and receptive to your awareness, to train them. When you learn to train your mind and body, you'll begin to hear yourself again. You'll begin to feel the beautiful you that you are. When your mind is not distracting you and your body and this world are not distracting you, you will begin to connect to who you truly are as this beautiful, vibrant, universal consciousness manifesting through unique individual expression of itself. Love is what you are. Love is what you are. It is not something you get from this world. It is what you are by nature. And when you begin to realize what you are by nature, your function of creation will take on a very different light. What you will think and what you will say and do from the vibration of who you truly are is very different than what you think and what you do based on what you've been taught to believe from this world. They're very different realms of information, very different causal and effects in your life originate from both. The causes of the mind and body that you acquired are very different than the causes of your soul functioning creatively and consciously in this physical dimension. Wow. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So you're not alone. None of you are alone. Oh, somebody's saying here, how do I ask my guides for help? I feel lost because I lost my wallet, so I have no ID. I want to tell you a little anecdote that happened to me 2 years ago. I had my phone, and my phone carries all my key, credit cards, things like that are in my phone. And my wife and I were out for a walk, and we came back, and I realized I'd lost my phone. This is about 3 years ago. And my first thing was to panic. Oh my God, I lost my phone. And then my guardian angel John stepped in and said, William, that is not who you are. You are not that identity. That's not who you are. That does not define you. Those documents, those papers, those cards, even that phone is not who you are. It's merely a device that you're using. Have no worries. So I said, okay. I ended up, within 12 hours, I had everything replaced. I didn't get the original phone back or the original documents, but I got everything else back really quickly. But I found this feeling of peace when I realized that wasn't about me losing my phone. It was about me remembering who I am. Who are you really? You are not the personality that the world has told you you are. You have that personality. It's been built and constructed by your environment, but it's not who you are. And you can learn to use your awareness to alter, modify, and change your personality so that it serves a better function of creation for you. Your mind and body are designed by nature to follow your instructions, not to be commanded by the world, but to follow your creative manifestation, to follow and carry out your commands, your will, your process of creation. And again, much of your confusion is not because there's anything wrong with you. Much of your confusion is between what you've been taught to believe and what you know is true in your heart. There is nothing wrong with you if you understand the true nature of who you are. The nature of what you are as a consciousness is a function and an extension of love. The function of what you may be as a personality may be very confused, but it is not who you are. It is simply the instrument you use while in this dimension of creation. And you can be free of it at any time. A single breath can free you from your suffering if you pay close attention to how to release your mind and body into stillness, to give them permission to be still. You can feel great relief in a very short time. And all of you know that there's a solution to your problems. That's why you keep looking. Jordan saying, I lost the most important thing I ever had in my life on Friday. They're saying to me, it's not lost. You must understand the value of your being is not determined by what is of this earth. The value of your being is determined by how you are being, what you are being. Just know this, that your love is never lost. You will never lose your love, for that is what you are. And those that join you in love are never lost either. When you understand the function of consciousness is different in its ways of working in the physical dimension than it is in the etheric and astral realms of consciousness. The function is different. The lines of separation get less and less as you elevate your consciousness more and more. As you rise up more to love, these boundaries of separateness begin to fall away. The more you descend into fear and anger and sadness, the more these boundaries of separation become more fixed by appearance. But you can learn to surrender your suffering. You can learn to surrender your suffering. Yeah. Someone is saying, I've only connected to one person in this life, but he's toxic. It makes no sense to me. Yes, we have been trained to be very dependent upon the outside world for our fulfillment. And a lot of people will compromise their mental and emotional health, well-being if they believe something in this world is going to give them more fulfillment. The greatest fulfillment that will come for you in this world is discovering and being your best self and identifying what that looks like. Your divinity, you are a divine entity that has a mind and has a body. You are here to function creatively. If you have toxic people in your life, it's because you're connecting to toxic ideas in yourself that probably aren't even yours. Most people's negative thinking isn't even theirs. It was given to them by TV shows and radio and teachers and friends. Most of your thinking isn't even yours. Let's get that straight. Right now, you have to get that straight. Most of the thoughts in your mind aren't even yours. And when you start to realize, well, what thoughts are yours? You'll start to realize that very little thinking is yours. Most of it's what's been given you by mom, by dad, by teachers, by books, by television shows. Right? You want to build your own self again. You want to say, who am I? What is my definition of self? And you begin to consider, who am I as a creative process? You create yourself. You create your new personality. And you can do that. Start with your body. Start by loving your body. Now, time for 2 more questions. Wow. Yes, you do. Somebody's asking, do I have spirit guides guiding me? Yes. I feel disconnected most days. I know it's a lot of people are feeling that disconnection. Please understand that feeling of disconnection is not about something being wrong with you. Okay, that disconnection is because most of the thoughts and beliefs you've been given about life are wrong. Most of the beliefs and ideas and ideologies that this world has given you do not reflect the true nature of who you are. And you want to disconnect. It's not the soul's nature. It's not your nature. The nature of your soul is not to be bound by fear, but to be liberated through love. And most of what you're being taught in this world is you're being taught to be afraid. You're not being judgmental. You're taught to hate this person and love that person. So much confusion. So it's natural. Confusion is not natural to a soul. Because a soul is love-based, and that's holistic, that's complete, that's encompassing, that's reasonable, that's intelligent, that's creative. So if you're feeling disconnected, it's just because you're wanting to connect to who you really are. Remember this statement. Speak these words in your mind. If you're feeling disconnected, speak these words in your mind, or speak them out loud and think them at the same time. You are love. And feel the vibration of those words. For every word has a unique vibration, and the vibration affects matter. So think those words to yourself right now. I am love. And feel the vibration that those words generate. I am love. And really allow yourself to feel the vibration you're creating with words. In witchcraft and things like that, they call it spelling, right? But that's what language is. It's a form of creation, right? It's not dark. It's not evil. There's manifestations of words and information that can create pain and suffering. that's considered evil. But there are also ways of creating that are based in love and compassion and kindness and patience and all kinds of wonderful things. But yeah, if you're feeling disconnected, it's because you're trying to get connected to who you really are. Remember those words, I am love, in your mind, and really feel the vibration. And if any of you think, before you let your mind think thoughts, feel the vibration of the words. I'll tell you right away. Maybe you think that person's terrible. That's got a terrible feeling to it. That word, those words, watch what you vibrate it with, what you put out, because it will come back to you. Whatever you put out to the world will come back to you. And you're here to learn to love. You're here to learn to create. One question from YouTube. I'm looking for a job, but haven't been lucky so far. Any advice from my guides? Thank you, William. So sorry I'm not able to join the 104 this time. You have nothing ever to be sorry about, beautiful Emma. Thank you so much. Yes. Again, go back to the feeling now if you already have what you require. That is, if you are in the job with the income, in the environment that you would be happy in, what would that feel like now? Because you know that emotion organizes matter. Be delighted in the feeling of what you already have being fulfilled, and it shall be done unto you. Emotion organizes the experiences you have in matter. Yes. Emotion organizes all the experiences we have in matter. Wow. Now, TikTok, I just want to say, I'm going to be coming live again later today. I'm being told that we need to do more through TikTok, so I'm going to be coming live a little bit later today. So I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. My YouTube family and Facebook family, thank you so much for coming out and spending this time with someone. I want to thank my guardian angel, John, the other multiple beings that were here communicating through us. And again, to all of you, remember that statement. You are love. It's not something you acquire. You become love. You are it. You bring it into the way your thinking is. You bring it into the way you act. Do not let the world be the sole source of what gives you value and meaning, because most of what's going on in the world is a bit of a shitstorm right now, because most of it's negative and destructive. I'm not saying there's lots of good here. There's lots of good here too. But a lot of it's really designed to keep people in fear and uncertainty. And that must stop. And we must stop it. And you stop it by remembering who you are. Because if you know who you are, you'll never be able to be compromised into suffering ever again. When you realize that you are love, you'll never be guided into suffering, because you'll recognize where they're leading you. I want to wish you all much love. I'll look forward to seeing you guys Wednesday on Shortcuts for Your Soul. And again, TikTok, I'll see you a little bit later today. Bye, everybody.